Well. I guess I've jumped ship. I've been an avid PC user since high school, since college. I've been in the PC game forever. My main computer for work is a PC. I've gamed on PC. I've programmed on PC. So buying a Mac is way out of my comfort zone. And there was a few reasons why I went down the road of purchasing a Mac. One was I needed a powerful computer that was not productivity based, more creative based, maybe some light gaming. And I didn't want to spend a lot. As you know, dads, we always on a budget. We have to figure out what we can do, the best we can do for the money we have. So when I did my research and talked to a few people, the Mac Mini M4 was the best bang for your buck. Now, with that said, that's what I'm going from hearsay, depending on the software you use, depending on the games you play. But at this point, it is kind of the best thing on the market. There's some benchmark tests online that show that this will outperform some $1,000 PCs. And I'm not getting into like those high-end gaming PCs, just for what it is today versus the comparable PCs that you can buy on the market. I like the form factor. I wanted something small. I like my desk, especially my personal desk. This is my personal desk. I also have a work desk, as I mentioned in the past. But my personal desk, I like to have it clean in terms of like aesthetics, and less things on it makes for my mind a better workflow. With that said, I do have a PC still, a little laptop over here, which is plugged into a dock. That's more for productivity work. Also, my kids use the PC just to learn how to type and whatnot. I'm not going to have them on the Mac yet because I feel like I'm a better teacher on the PC, obviously, of my experience. So what I want to do is when I learn the Mac, I'll eventually have them over to the Mac, and this will be like sort of like their workstation. I do have an office on our main floor as well, where eventually I will have a PC set up there so the kids can use. But right now my wife kind of uses more of a creative studio she does a lot of events and stuff like that. So she just uses a creative studio, and I kind of don't want to get in the way. So yeah, let's see what this Mac hype is about. Okay, so I got the Mac all cabled up, connected up to my PC setup actually. So I have one monitor, my MX keyboard and mouse, Logitech MX keyboard and mouse, and then I have a pair of speakers here, Bluetooth speakers, which are connected. I will eventually get a DAC. Right now, I don't really need it right now. I do have a headset if I have to listen to better quality audio. I just use my headset. The initial setup seemed pretty good. I'm just running an update. One of my things I liked about it was how quickly it connected the mouse and keyboard automatically. I didn't have to really do much about it. So why did I choose a Mac since I've been a PC person? I did mention the cost, which is obviously a great benefit. But at the same time, like I mentioned, I've been using a PC for quite a long time, and it's in everything. It's in my personal life, my work life, now into the kids' life. It's everywhere. So I told myself this year that I will try to learn new things or try different things to kind of get my mind off the day-to-day norm. When trying these different things, get my mind into a better headspace, so then, I'm not always stressed out. I'm not always sort of unhappy in like a lull in life where I don't know what to do with my pastime outside of the kids and my family. So this is one step. I want to do this. This is going to be kind of my new hobby. I know this is obviously for YouTube and what other platform, but in this time it wasn't necessarily for that. It was more for me learning this. And yes, this is my creative outlook. In my past, I'm talking about 20 years ago, I did do video editing and photo editing, and I kind of lost track of that. So this is one of those things. I'm revisiting something I used to love doing. Used to love creating these things, and hopefully I get better at it, and I actually like this. As for the Mac ecosystem, I have the Mac OS ecosystem. I do have somewhat of some experience. My wife has a Mac; she's used it. Obviously, I don't really go on it. The only time I go on it is when she has a problem with the internet, and then she bugs me. But otherwise, work does revolve around IT and IT support. So once in a while, once in a blue moon, I'll get a client who calls me about a Mac or a Mac question, and am I the greatest? No, usually pass it along. So, yeah, this is why I bought a Mac, and this is why I'm going to use a Mac for the time being. And then if I like it, I will most likely continue to use it. Or if I hate it, it's going to be traded in for a PC right off the bat. So anyways, I will show you guys some more once I get a little bit more stuff set up, and we'll go from there. So it's been a few days with the Mac Mini, and I have to say I am very impressed with this thing. I've been doing a little bit of work on the video editing side. Nothing heavy, nothing crazy, but the most impressive thing for me is just scrubbing the videos, just playback, previewing after an edit. It does not lag. It does not even phase this thing. And just to give you a reference, I had the DaVinci Resolve is what I'm using on the Mac on a PC with, top CPU, an i7 Ultra with 32 gigs of RAM, SSD, which in terms of spec wise is pretty better in terms of spec. But you run or try to do previews on that thing, and that thing lags behind. And that's probably due to the Windows 11, which is sort of a pig in my opinion. It's very heavy, it's very laggy. You can throw as much hardware at it as you can, but it's still very slow. But man, this Mac is just on another level. I can see why I can see why all the creators out there tend to lean towards the Mac now. I had no clue why they used to do that, but now for sure I can see it. With that said, all the praises aside, I will say I do have a few regrets, or I guess negatives on this. During the purchasing process, you start off with the base, which is the M4 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and then the 256 gig storage, which is the base. And then at the time I was optioning out, I wanted to get the bigger storage, but at the same time the price was sort of $200 more. And then on top of that, if I wanted a terabyte, it was $400 more. And if you wanted the 2 terabyte, I think it was like $800. So the storage cost is crazy. And I think if Apple can find a way, or even just, do it as a favor to your customers, drop that price slightly, these things would fly off the shelf. I don't think Apple could keep up with the demand that this thing could pull. I did, during the process of purchase, think about that though, and I know the cost was there, and I really wanted the bigger storage, but I ended up buying an external, or I should say a dock, which has 2 slots for storage, NVMe storage. So I will eventually populate that, and so I can have up to I think it's 8 terabytes a piece. So it'll just give me 16 terabytes total. Right now I don't do enough to call for that, but it's something down the line I do. I did, however, the other part too was, the other negative is too that there wasn't enough ports, USB ports, USB-A ports on this thing. So the other part of the dock is to serve as sort of a USB hub for additional ports. And I do plan to get an additional display, which this also supports a display port output to another monitor, 2 monitors actually. So I can have up to 3 monitors if I want to in the future. I already know I'll probably get a second monitor just because I want to be able to research on one side and actually edit on the other side. Yes, as I learn, I'd like to have either some documentation or videos up as I'm trying to do the editing at the same time. But otherwise, this thing has blown me away. I can't say enough about it, and I think it's well worth the money. That's at the time I paid $700 entry point Canadian, which is value in terms of the computer market. But otherwise, that's it for now, guys. I think it's great. If you're in the market of purchasing something for the creative side, go ahead and check this thing out. It's amazing. And for now, have a good one. Take care.